Hey people, Dave here. This particular video is going to introduce my most recently published web page and take a look at Facebook really quick. I uploaded a video recently, pretty good sized video actually, on my Facebook page. So I wanted to mention that and kind of promote the idea of going to my website, friending me on Facebook, etc. And that's what I'm going to do on this point. So you won't be looking at me in the dark that long. I was gonna start with some Dan Vogel imitation and show my wonderful library back there, the books I got. All right, I think we can pull that off. Yeah, I went to the bookstore, picked up a few extra books the other day. I mean, I just saw this old bookstore. So I already obviously had Mormon Doctrine, 1966. They got Myths of the Bible, the Templar Revelation. There you go, the Kabbalah Handbook, a book by Richard Dawkins, the God Delusion, Holy Blood, Holy Grail, and of course, Manly P. Hall's masterpiece. Okay, did we see that? I don't even think you got to see that. Ah, it's terrible. Hang on. Let me fix that problem for y'all. Okay. Cool. Yeah, anyway, maybe I'll do that in another video. Let's take a look at the Facebook page. And I'll show you the video here. How about a little music, huh? Okay, this is what we're going to take a look at, by the way. However, let's go over to my Facebook. Just had it up here. It's got to be here. Here it is. Okay. Yep, inoculating for the coronavirus there. Beer is good for your immune system. Okay, here's the video right here. So I was reviewing I was reviewing a Facebook post here on the 13 Illuminati bloodlines, and using that basically as something to kind of like an outline, I guess, right? Click on it for just a moment. Now we are controlled by conditioning. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that conditioning that we get, where we are literally programmed to react predictably through means such as the media, what's called the education system, and religion, etc., especially in these venues. And see if I can tie that in. We're going to take a look at a particular subject, something I saw on Facebook. It popped up, with which I have some familiarity. Someone's presenting the 13 Illuminati bloodlines that they'd like to tell us are in so much control in our lives. So I'm going to discuss a little bit about that and where they really are, as opposed to what is being promoted. In other words, just when you think you know how things work, you need to realize that you probably don't. The reason that pyramid's got the top part missing, the capstone, is is like typifying a message that you don't see who's at the top of stuff. You think you know when you're told, and you think, I have the truth. You know, the Book of Mormon is so full of good information. Did you catch that? The Book of Mormon is so full of good information. The Book of Mormon shows us programming technique, mind control technique. Because mind control is really what it's about. Mind control is people control, and it's a lot more than the simplistic view that you get of the bite model to identify that you're in a cult. Okay, so anyway, because this article will, I'm going to call it an article. This post will serve to provide material to discuss and maybe go a little bit in some of the rabbit holes around this. But once again, so Mormonism is a cog in a much larger wheel, as are the other religions, and everything is what it isn't. In other words, if you think you know the way the world works, you probably don't. I'm not saying I do, but I have a better idea than most of the population does, in my not so humble opinion. So, let's do this. I've been kind of active on Facebook lately, not posting a whole hell of a lot, probably commenting more than anything else. And there are some people that I think are really doing a nice job, making a lot of going through a lot of effort to share thoughts to kind of wake people up to some of the manipulation that's going on in our society. And part of what I wanted to talk about, it kind of relates to that video I did not very long ago where I'm doing the Black Sabbath song and talking about Donald Trump a little bit. It's not that it's about Donald Trump. It's about how people are squabbling over politics, including Donald Trump. So the song's called "All Moving Parts Stand Still," and it's amazing what's in those lyrics, because there are a number of things that just relate so much to Donald Trump or to the presidency of the United States or previous presidents and their roles. There's so much that's shared through music, and there's so much in music, and that's a rabbit hole I don't think I'm going to go down too deeply in right now. There's so much information, so much going on, not just information, but there are messages on various levels, layered messaging. There's exoteric stuff that maybe is designed to make people think they understand what the song is about, when really there's esoteric information, mind control, chanting, spells, all kinds of witchcraft going on in the music because of desired effects upon people. And it's part of this super successful strategy that is used by those who run our society to entice human cattle, or sheeple as we're referred to by some, into doing what they want them to do. They want information, so they create a psyop called Facebook. Okay, they want more. They want DNA information on you, so they entice you with Ancestry.com. Find out. They give you a benefit. Find out who you're related to, so that you will volunteer. To cooperate to do the shit we want you to do. So that you will voluntarily give us your DNA sample, so we can do what the Mormon Church has talked about, sort of, well, Joseph Smith, before he came out with the sealing ordinances, before he came out with that sealing, he came out with a concept. He came out with that concept, but he used it to sell baptism for the dead concept. In other words, he said there must be some principle, some welding link upon which we are connected to our relatives, to up and down throughout the line.
All right, so
because he's going.
I guess I should unclick this.
He's going to use this.
Unclick.
This whole doctrine to tie people.
So you can watch that if you want to. So friend me on Facebook, Dodger Dave, and that's how you can do that. Quiet, Dave. All right, let's go to the article. I mean the new page here. Maybe I should. See how long this goes. Maybe I'll do something with some comments. There's a Christian gal that's been interacting with me on issues that we don't agree on, and so I may do that in a separate video and discuss some of the issues that I take with Christianity and what a Christian would defend Christianity with. So, yeah, that's interesting. Maybe she'd like to do a video. Maybe we can get the technology going here. I can mooch some Wi-Fi next to someplace and do a call-in or something. I don't know. It could be interesting. So I like to encourage freedom of speech on my on my whatever venues I've got, and I'm particularly on my YouTube channel, because I believe in that. I don't believe in having an echo chamber like you see all the Reddits were with having to do with Mormonism, whether that was Mormon or ex-Mormon or LDS or Latter-day Saints or LDS politics, all of which I was kicked off of. I think I'm back on ex-Mormon now, just recently, but I haven't spent much time there. So because they wanted an echo chamber and that's BS. So here we go. This page is called The Fruits of the Restored Gospel as Manifested in Utah Stats for Teen Suicide, Antidepressant Use and Opiate Overdose, Divorce, Paid Porn Subscriptions, and Pedophilia, Obesity, and Financial Insolvency, as related to harmful teachings and practices of the LDS Church. I like to kind of cross reference this against how the church was showing stats to show how it's the one true church when I'm saying the church. LeGrand Richards was an apostle, and his book Marvelous Work and a Wonder was actually used as an outline for missionary lessons, I believe, for quite some time. So in that book, he is touting longevity and lower cancer rates, and then saying, well, it's because we've got the word of wisdom, the word of the Lord, so inspired, ahead of its time, because smoking's not good for us, and drinking lots of hard liquor, any hard liquor probably, is not good for you. So there was a little more longevity. Maybe that was before the green jello kicked in, All right. Word of wisdom is not helping the church these days to look good. While the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints markets the concept that Mormonism produces happy families in this life who are privileged to stay together after death and throughout all eternity, for faithful Latter-day Saints who unquestioningly obey LDS hierarchy throughout their lives in the paying of tithes, acceptance of calls to serve the LDS corporation without compensation, except for the 6-figure rewarded corporate hierarchy called general authorities, and the most likely 7-figure compensated upper crust of that. Hang on just a sec. I'm going to see if I grab my glasses. All right, I'm back. The Lord's ridiculously substandard and flawed law of health, called the Word of Wisdom, or WOW. The stats on issues, including many of those listed above, show the sad results of harmful teachings and practices built deep into the fabric, doctrine, and culture of Mormonism. Videos on this page will tend to be related to these issues. Viewers may be triggered by disturbing accounts of these realities on this page as well as on the SRA page, Satanic Ritual Abuse, especially as noted in the LDS Church, Roman Catholic Church, and Jehovah's Witnesses organization, the Watchtower. The tragic results brought about by applying the teachings of the LDS Church are exacerbated by the mind control techniques used upon members starting in early childhood, impressing deeply upon the mind of the children and reinforced through hypnotic repetition while singing or chanting mantras, demanding them to follow the Mormon prophet who knows the will of the New Testament character Jesus Christ, to whom the children are programmed to believe that they owe their very lives for appeasing the wrath of their dear Heavenly Father by allowing Roman soldiers serving the Jews to murder him, so that his blood would make them clean and worthy to live with these gods and their families after death, so long as they obey Mormon leaders in the serving as slaves to the corporate hierarchy all their lives, including leaving family as young as 18 years of age for 18 to 24 months, often abandoning and ruining romantic relationships while wasting hard-earned life savings, all to promote this vampiric and parasitic religious organization, triggering depression, anxiety, and deep-seated guilt. Guilt is a strong tool used in suppressing normal sexual development and building feelings of unworthiness in Latter-day Saints, as taught in LDS scripture and lesson materials, which brings greater subservience and loss of individuality and self-worth, causing members to feel greater obligation to serve the imaginary gods of the cult in order to obtain forgiveness and qualify for spiritual companionship, as normal sexual development and relationships are demonized and forsaken in favor of servitude for the Lord. Mormon leadership in times past touted health statistics in Utah, where many members live, and through avoidance of smoking, obtained lower cancer rates. Looks like I needed a correction there. However, now the numbers for emotional and financial ruin in key areas listed above are no longer bragging points, as the toll upon the people becomes difficult to conceal. Some of the disturbing and telling numbers include the fact that suicide is the top cause of death in Mormon children ages 11 to 17. Well, let's say in the state of Utah, which is, I think more than 50% LDS, often caused by feelings of worthlessness, for failure to be comfortable with themselves or comply with Mormon behavioral control, sexual purity teachings, and the consequent public shaming of youth prone to normal and healthy sexual development, and social behavior where individuals are made to feel dirty for physical intimacy entered into without being in a state-licensed marriage. Financial burdens placed upon members by the prophets in the form of tithes and offerings, as well as missions, often become the straw that breaks the members' backs, causing bankruptcy, foreclosure, ruined credit, and stress, which helps end many marriages, along with the results of porn addiction brought on by the culture of sexual suppression in a society that has made cover-up of the church's priesthood pedophilia business as usual, along with victim shaming of the children and young women who are most often the prey of these predators in sheep's wool suits, especially in the state of Utah, a national leader in sex crimes. Fruits of the gospel. Yep. The restored gospel of Jesus Christ, as Kwaku and three Mormons folk would call it. Children are groomed for predation in Mormonism through subjection to one-on-one closed-door worthiness interviews, which middle-aged Mormon men acting as ecclesiastical leaders called bishops and stake presidents, who ask sexually explicit and grossly invasive questions from ages as low as 8 years old. Children and adults are taught to confide details of acts categorized as sexual sin to the priesthood leaders, and then publicly shamed by being restricted for a time from certain activities which make it obvious to others that the individual is considered an unworthy person, thus magnifying stresses contributing to the mental health issues plaguing Mormon communities, and lending to the drug dependency, overdose, and suicide epidemic found in populations where Mormonism is higher in numbers. The second-rate status of women in Mormonism cannot be overstated. Despite rhetoric to the contrary in recent years, the scriptures are replete with such teachings. Help wake up the Mormons by enabling Dodger Dave to devote time. Alright, so there's me pitching why you should send me anything from USANA Proflavanol to financial contributions, etc. Yeah. Anyway, thank you to those who help out. Dodger Dave currently surviving in my car with an overly expensive payment due to my credit that was completely destroyed, especially when I had, well, it was destroyed by the financial crisis and then re-destroyed probably as I had a nervous breakdown, and yeah, anyway, rebuilding that, but nearly 16% interest on my car. Not good. Okay, so here's a few videos I've put into this page. Examining the fruits of the gospel, I guess. Anyway, we can see what that is. If you come to the page, you'll see what's embedded in here as far as videos go. And, ooh, a naughty word on that one. F. Mormonism, it destroys families. Mormon youth subjected to mind control in, yeah, that's all about seminary, the mind control used in it. It's got specific examples. Mormon leaders parade house Negroes. And it's the LDS PR there. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. You know, the LDS Church is reeling right now. Reeling with reactionary response to so many, so much coming out about the dishonesty of the LDS leaders, whether it's having to do with the $100 billion trying, falsely categorized as charitable, since since for 22 years, not one charitable contribution had been made by Ensign Peak Advisors. The church's tithing investment slush fund has grown to $100 billion, which they continuously reported at or $1 million to the IRS. That's 100,000 to 1 ratio of dishonesty at this point. And now they've suddenly come out with something disclosing $37 billion worth of investment from that. So they're, oh, look how transparent we are, just in stocks and bonds and so forth, various financial, highly liquid financial instruments. And suddenly, making donations to certain charities in New York and so forth, and using the excuse that it's, celebrating the 200, bicentennial of the church. Not even the church. 2020. That's of when Joseph Smith, says he had that first vision, although that completely contradicts what he said in church history and published in Times and Seasons, where he said in 1835, stated that he was trying to find out if God existed, or if a supreme being existed, when he prayed in 1823 and received the angel Nephi vision. When he said, he said he was a messenger from the presence of God, and his name was Nephi. Yeah. Which Orson Pratt, of course, is the most likely person to have changed that to stating that it was Moroni later. Sorry, Joseph Smith published it as Nephi. All right. LDS, JW, and SDA church leaders using NLP and so forth. I don't know. That's a good video. A couple of good ones right there.
Hey, I think this is a pretty good video, actually. It's got a lot of good material in it. It is kind of long, but, YouTube doesn't lose your play, so, you can watch some and come back later if you don't have 2 hours and 6 minutes all in one shot. You don't have to lose your place with YouTube. Just want to say that. A lot of stuff all through it is pretty good. So, you will learn some things about manipulation techniques and highly skilled.
Yeah, highly skilled NLP masters like Dieter Uchtdorf. So, there's a much shorter version, kind of a synopsis of that, which I got somewhere. Not sure if it's on here or not. Anyway, explore that page. Friend me on Facebook, and anything you can do to contribute to my ability to focus more time on this and to survive on the streets of the left coast is much appreciated. I'll throw links to that effect in, and we'll see you on the other side of karaoke, right? Somewhere on the other side of karaoke. I'm Dodger Dave. And I'm looking really studious right now, but you can't see it. I have my down vocal glasses on. Actually, my other ones. Those ones the screw came out. Okay. Later, folks. Oh, if anyone talks to Kwaku, well, let him know I am. This is the sound of 48 ounces, or a little less at this point, of kombucha from the streets of Southern California. I'm out.